Hey guys, how's it going today? This is Mr. G coming at you with a video about sex-linked traits. Now, before anything, thank you for opening up this video. This is the very first time that I try something like this, and I really hope that it goes well. Now, just be patient with me because I'm using one of these pens and my handwriting might be a little messy as I am trying to get used to this. Let's see, maybe in the future we can do a little more often. But please just hang in there with me, all right? Um, I want to tell you, since I'm not there today, obviously, I want to make sure that you understand what sex-linked traits are and how they work, okay? Now, let's just start with this. The sex-linked traits, these are traits that are carried on the sex chromosomes. So, for example, women usually have two X's, so this will mean that any trait that is carried on these chromosomes, they're going to be considered sex-linked traits. And on the other hand, if there was a male, any traits that are carried on these chromosomes, the X and the Y chromosomes, those are going to also be considered sex-linked traits. And of course, they're passed on from generation to generation. All right. The objective, guys, for today is, well, do you have to be able to predict possible outcomes of various genetic crosses, including sex-linked crosses. So before we talked about Mendelian crosses, we talked about monohybrid or one-trait crosses. We also have covered dihybrid crosses, which is two traits. But now we are focusing on sex-linked, and they're very similar to monohybrid crosses. So just so you know, it's going to be very easy to understand. Okay. Now the essential question, by the end of the class, you should be able to use a Punnett square to predict the outcomes of sex-linked crosses. All right. And so this video is going to help you answer the questions of the assignment that you picked at the door. You need to be able to answer those questions, and you must turn that in before you get out of class today. Okay, you need to make sure that you finish that assignment and turn it in before you get out of class. All right. Hopefully this video can help you answer some of those questions, or all of the questions. So let's go over this quick warm-up here. The warm-up says complete a Punnett square for a cross between a human female, and remember, human females are going to be X and X, and a human male who is X and Y. What is the chance that the parents will have a girl? So remember, girls, of course, the girl's going to have an X and an X, so that's what we're looking for in a Punnett square. When you do a Punnett square, you're going to do just like a monohybrid, 4 squares, and you're going to put the X's on the top, so the woman on the top and the male on the side. And when they go together in the Punnett squares, the possible zygotes are going to be X and X, X and X, and then here we have X and a Y, and X and a Y. Well, what this means is that whenever an egg from this woman right here which is going to have an X, and an egg from this man, a sperm from this man that has a Y in it, well, when these two join together, we have a sperm with a Y chromosome and an egg with an X chromosome. Whenever these two join together and you form a zygote, now this zygote will have an X and a Y chromosome, so there's 50% chance of being a boy. So what are the chances of being a girl? We have 1/2, or a 50% chance of being a female. That's those 2 out of 4, and then 1/2, or 50% chance of being a boy or a male. Okay, so this is a female, and this is the percentage of being, or the probabilities of being a male. Okay, and it works for any population. Okay, if you think about the world population, billions of people in the world, we have very close to 50% males and 50% females. If you think about the population here at Pasadena High School, we have close to a little over 2,000 students. So you should know that there's very close to 50% boys and 50% girls, and that's because whenever these gametes form a zygote, okay, and this is the zygote. Whenever this gamete form a zygote, what's going to happen is that there's 50% chance of the zygote having two X's, or 50% chance of the zygote having an X and a Y. Okay. Oh, moving on. Sex-linked inheritance. Well, just like we did in the warm-up, it is similar to this. These are going to be traits that are carried by the sex chromosomes. So if you remember well, we have here a karyotype, and in a karyotype, how many chromosomes you should have? Well, you should know that we should have a total of 46 chromosomes. Now, out of those 46, if you count the total number of these chromosomes, like for example, this is chromosome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. Remember that this is pair number 1, pairs number 2, pair number 3, pair number 4, and so on, all the way to 22 pairs for a total of 44 chromosomes. So 44 of these chromosomes are going to be what we call autosomal. So let me write that number. 44 should be autosomal. And then you have the sex chromosomes, which are going to be the X in this case and the Y chromosome. So these are two chromosomes that determine the sex on the individual. And not just determine the sex, it's also going to determine some traits which are carried on this chromosome. So there are specific genes, there are bands of genes are going to be carried on these chromosomes as such. Okay, so that's what sex-linked traits are. So the genes for the traits that are located on the sex chromosomes, the X and the Y. This is what sex-linked inheritance is. Once again, now some examples of it is male patterns of baldness. Whenever usually people start getting bald, and it happens in women as well. Let me go back a little bit for a chance. Whenever people are starting to get bald, they can actually see this pattern of baldness, and it is because it is carried on the X chromosomes. Also, color blindness is another example of a disorder that is carried on the sex chromosomes. Okay, so keep going. Now, this is just an example. This is a very, very good example of color blindness. So, do you see the number 42? And if you were not colorblind, you should be able to see that number 42 right here. Now, if you don't see that number 42, that means that obviously you are colorblind. Okay, I'm messing with you guys. There's no number 42 in here. This is actually what a person will see if this person was colorblind. This is what the person will see. We'll see that all the circles are very similar in color from one another, and they're not going to be able to see any colors in it. There might be some people in the classroom that are going to be colorblind, but that doesn't mean that you're more or less than anybody. It just means that you carry the gene for color blindness in that X chromosome of yours. Okay, so don't feel any discouraged or any more, any less than anyone by that. This is what a person that is colorblind would actually see. And now, if I show you this right here, you can actually see the number 74, and that's because you probably not colorblind. If you cannot see the number 74 right there, you're probably colorblind. Okay, there's another example. This is actually the number 42 right there. You can see it in the middle. Hopefully most of you can see the color 42, the number 42 right in the middle. Another example, number 7. Okay, so this is a question that talks about hemophilia. Okay, hemophilia is a very rare disorder where people actually, whenever they get a cut or something like that, the blood cannot coagulate really well. So it's hard to form a clot whenever you get a cut, and these people can actually bleed out. It's very dangerous type of disorder, and it's actually carried on by the X chromosome, and it is a recessive trait. So we're going to look at this question right here. It says a woman who is a carrier for hemophilia. So if she's a carrier, that means that she has that small h right there. Marries a normal male. So the male has the normal X with the dominant allele for hemophilia, and the Y, which in this case has nothing to do with hemophilia, just a Y chromosome. Well, what are the chances of the kids having hemophilia? When you do the Punnett square, you have the women, the men on this side, the woman on this side. Whenever you put them together, you have H, big H, and big H, X and Y. But this one has a big H. Are we going to put an H here? The answer is no, because this one doesn't have one. So we just leave it like that. X and X. And this is going to be big H and little h. And then you have X and Y. And this one is going to have a little h, so you have to pay close attention to that. You're going to put that little h right there. Okay, so if I were to ask you a question, what are the chances of this couple having a girl who has hemophilia? So having a female with hemophilia will be 0% chance. There's 0% chance of them having a girl that's going to have hemophilia. Now, the girl could be a carrier, as you can see, but she's not going to have the disease because she has that dominant allele as well. Now, what about the boys? If they were to have a boy, or they were to have a male son, well, in this case, if it was a male, it was 50% chance of having hemophilia, because out of 2 males that are possible, one of them will have hemophilia, the other one will not have the hemophilia. And remember, the Y just stays as it is. The X is the one that carries the gene for hemophilia or not hemophilia, right? So this is the type of question that you can answer from this. There's just a little more information in case that you wanted to look at this. It is available in Schoology, just in case of how to do this problem. Some more examples. We talked about color blindness, male baldness, also hemophilia. There's some very rare muscular disorders, and that is also caused by X-linked disorders, right? So these are just some of the examples that we have looked at today. There's just a quick exit ticket, guys. I want you to make sure that you can answer this question by yourself. So please have a sheet of paper, get a piece of paper, and question 1, what is your name? And question 2, please answer this question right here. What will be the genotypes of the mother and father given this information right here? So spend some time, open up the PowerPoint in Schoology and spend some time to answer this question right there in a piece of paper, and I'm going to collect that tomorrow. Now, question 1, like I said, what is your name? Question 2, please provide some information or some evidence for this answer right here the answer to this question right there. And question 3, I want you to please rate this video from 5 being it was good, I liked it, maybe I could do this in the future again, to number 1, no Mr. G, I do not like this video, I do not like to do this, I'd rather have you in person, or rather not even have you. But just give me a rate 1 through 5 and we'll see what we, how we do in the future. All right, so thank you for listening to me today, guys. Once again, this is Mr. G coming at you live from the internet. I will see you all Wednesday. All right, thank you, guys.